Hi, how you doing? I'm Dan Thomas, the old internet guy. That's what they call me. And today I want to talk about getting started, how you can get started, and what's holding you back from getting started. Now I'm basically, my background in my other life, I was in engineering for years, 30 years of engineering, and in that time you develop kind of routines and habits. And as an engineer, unfortunately, when we design something, as soon as we finish designing it, we'll find a better way and we'll redesign it and we'll redesign it and we'll redesign it. Well, if we didn't have somebody behind us saying, build it finally, and we'll improve it once we're building it. And that's the same thing with internet marketing. I find that a lot of people, whether it be fear or whatever it is, they don't get started because maybe their website isn't exactly perfect, or their autoresponder series isn't exactly perfect. Well, the problem is it's never going to be perfect. It's always going to be changing. This is a changing environment. The internet is changing basically daily, sometimes hourly. You have to just get out there and get started. That is the biggest thing. Get started. Now, you're not going to know everything, and everything's not going to be perfect. But what's going to happen is you're going to get in there and say, oh yeah, I've got to do this and I've got to do that, and you'll change it a little bit. You'll change direction. You'll just adjust it. You'll tweak it. And that is the way that you get started in any kind of internet business. In fact, in business itself. Now, the great thing with the internet is, once you do get started, it's actually really easy to change your direction and tweak it. But I know of so many people, and I would probably say 90% of the people out there will purchase a program, a good program, whatever it is, but they will never ever get started on it because well, first of all, 80% of the people just won't invest any time in it, and they won't get started. Then there'll be 10% that'll get started, but they don't actually get it going because, well, I don't have this perfect, and I don't have this perfect. It's kind of like the professional lumberjack that never cuts any trees. He's always sharpening his axe. He's always got a real sharp axe, but he never gets anything done because he never puts it into play. Sharpening, never cuts any wood. Same with the meat cutter. He's got a great set of knives. Stone sharpens them all the time. Never cuts meat because he's afraid they're never sharp enough, never perfect enough. So he keeps sharpening and never cuts meat, never gets anything done. You could be some of that 90% and just let everything sit on the lid on the shelf. But you just have to get going somehow, some way. You just have to take the initiative, knowing that it's not perfect, knowing that you don't know everything. And that's the great thing about joining a good program, is you generally have mentors and training sessions and that sort of thing. So you get into it, and I'm not saying fake it until you make it. I'm not in agreement with that. I'm saying just get started and then adjust as you go. Adjust as you go. Because really, once you've gotten whatever program that you've got, good program, the cost is actually very minimal. It's just up to you. There's a lot of people out there that will get a program and they'll put it into activation, and they'll never ever tweak it, and they'll make a little bit of dough on it. Maybe they'll make their 100 to 500 a week, and that's all they'll do, and eventually that will die off because you do need to keep going. But I got to give them credit. At least they got started. And then once you do get started and you start making a few bucks, you can tweak it. And then maybe you put in a little bit of money for advertising because you've made, a bit of dough. But if you never get started, you never can get it into operation. And as I'm going to repeat this over and over, there is no reason that it has to be perfect when you get started. Nobody is perfect. When I started years ago, I actually thought that I had perfect and it was ready to go. And I got so discouraged when I had my first disappointment that I would just drop the program and I would move to another program and another program and another program. At least I got started, but I didn't stick with it. So that's really the key, is once you get started, I think you're gonna find you're making even if you don't make anything the first week, if it takes you 3 or 4 weeks to start making 100, 500 a week, whatever it is, you get started, and then you get a little bit enthusiastic because you've got some dough coming in. Just put in the effort, get started. I mean, again, if you don't get started, you can't make any dough. And if you're like me, you probably got 10 or 20 programs, probably $10,000 worth of programs on the shelf that probably would work if you just actually got started. So that's my simple, quick get started advice for you, help to get going on your internet business. Now, I appreciate you watching this, and I hope you found it informational, educational, and possibly entertaining. But I do appreciate you watching. Thanks a lot, and I'll see you later.